Hi, my name's Roy Phillips and welcome to the Ultimate Chess course. I want to get straight into the magic formula which you've already heard about. The sooner we understand this, the sooner we start implementing it in our games, the sooner we start practicing it, the sooner we'll start developing better habits, which is the key to sustained chess improvement. Okay, well, the magic formula. M.A.G.I.C. M is for material. We can't get away from it. Even when we start learning chess, it's one of the first things we learn, the value of the pieces. When we look at games, I think the first thing that we all do is count up the pieces and the value of the pieces to see who has a material advantage. And this is with good reason. All other things being equal, the side with more force will win. This isn't quite the case though for A, which represents activity and attack. I don't think that we're given enough focus on this when we start out. And I've actually searched in a number of books, and some books do mention it, but they don't dedicate enough space to it in my opinion. Even the FIDE Trainers Commission chess syllabus, which was handed to me by our Federation's president recently, even in there's not a separate chapter dedicated to the activity of the pieces. I think it's absolutely vital, second only to material. And we will be going into some detail on this, activity and attack. G represents goals and targets. We're moving on now to the planning side of things, and it's very difficult to have a plan if you don't have a goal or a target. Not impossible, but quite difficult. So we'll be looking at goals and targets in some detail as well. They're not quite the same. Goals are a bit more general, targets are quite specific. We'll go into more detail later in the course. I represents initiative. Very important. I think trainers used to think that it was more important at lower levels. However, Kasparov changed that. He showed that even at the highest level, the initiative is very important. He was an expert at converting the initiative into a winning advantage. And I'm just thinking about one game in particular we'll be looking at later in the course, one of Kasparov's games, which is an absolute corker. I'm looking forward to demonstrating that one to you. Now, only after we've considered the material of each side, the material imbalance, the activity and attack, which we can consider the king position of the two sides, the goals and targets of each side, and who has the initiative, only after we've considered these four things can we begin to think about our candidate moves and our candidate ideas. We must also think about the ideas in the position, not just specific moves. Magic, material, activity and attack, goals and targets, initiative and candidates. Your task for today is to watch this video again, make a note of magic, stick it somewhere, read it a couple of times throughout the day, think about it. Have you been using these elements in your games? Have you been considering them? Have you had such a framework before, or has your mind been wandering here and there? I know certainly before I found a framework, that's what my mind was doing. That doesn't mean I didn't always find good moves, but sometimes it would take me longer than it should have done, and often I'd miss good moves. So consider if you've been using it before and get ready to start using it from here on. Tomorrow we'll be talking a little bit more about candidates, which expands out into cap. So the full formula is magic cap. Easy to remember, and I hope the elements of it will be easy to remember and become second nature to you soon. Tomorrow we'll be considering cap, which talks about a little bit about how to choose the candidate moves. Many books talk about candidates, but in fact there's one particularly famous book which really coined the term candidates, I think. But even in that book, it doesn't really talk about how to choose the candidate moves. It just says choose your candidate moves and then go and analyse them. We'll be talking a bit about how to choose them tomorrow, and then once we've got the full formula, we'll go into some detail of each of the elements. Thanks for listening. This is Roy Phillips.